It has been a crazy couple of days in Xbox world, hasn't it? Yeah, Phil Spencer retired yesterday, Sarah Bond left. That pretty much cleans house. The new CEO is Asha Sharma, who has a background more in AI and, curiously, Instacart. She was the one who apparently scaled Instacart, I think during COVID, so she did a lot better during that time than a lot of gaming divisions did. A lot of people were unsure about it. I can understand why someone might not be comfortable with somebody with an AI background taking over as the head of a major platform holder, now of all times. The first thing she did, like in the first statements that she made as Xbox CEO, she didn't steer into her background in AI as a bellwether for what Microsoft is going to be doing moving forward. She weaponized it. She basically came out and said that AI is not going to be leveraged as a replacement for art. That basically Xbox game development isn't going to be turned into AI slop with her there at the helm. She did acknowledge that AI has been used in video games since time immemorial, and that's true. And I don't see that scaling down in any sense, and I don't think it should. Like, when you talk about AI in gaming, today you hear people referring a lot to, like, using generative AI to create assets or even to generate code for games. Traditionally, it's been CPU behaviors, AI learning. The more sophisticated AI learning models that we've seen go all the way back to Virtua Fighter 4 on the PS2. I can see it staying to that effect, and it should, because that does make the gaming experience better, objectively. It proved that Asha knows how to talk to the gaming audience. And then she took it a step further today by going on Twitter and introducing herself, having back and forth conversations with the player base, getting to know individual players, which is really impressive to me because it's very easy to get into a position like that and just start dictating, to start talking down. This is what I'm going to do, and if you don't like it, don't buy it. Things like that. That's not what she did. She opened up just asking people what their favorite games were, and then answered her own question and got really involved talking to people, connecting with people. If she keeps that energy up long term, I think there are good times ahead for Xbox, which feels really crazy to say, which would have been crazy to say just 24 hours ago. It sounds like she has genuine ambitions toward brand restoration. And that's good because Xbox needs it really badly. As has become the fashion, I did make a Twitter post about it, and I just wanted to go over some of my own realistic hopes for Xbox as it moves into a very sudden new era. I think all the way to the very end, Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond had their own vision for where Xbox was going to go, but with the two of them out the door suddenly and a complete unknown as a CEO stepping in, I think all bets are off. I don't think that Asha is going to be beholden in any way to any of the initiatives, or in some cases lack thereof, that were in place under Phil Spencer. The first thing that I think we could see is the return of exclusives, and this was kind of hinted at by some of those Twitter conversations earlier. Asha went out of her way to acknowledge a statement from a player who was specifically calling for the return of exclusives to Xbox. I agree wholeheartedly. I don't think going all in on exclusives, saying every first-party game we make moving forward will be on Xbox and only Xbox, not even PCs getting anything, I don't think that's realistic. You've got some games out there that are just maybe contractually obligated to be multi-platform. Obviously, Call of Duty is one. The way Microsoft has been shopping for studios the last several years, they own franchises now that have always been on all systems, and I don't expect that to change. But the Xbox must be the only place to play a large selection of titles in order to build an identity and justify its place in anyone's gaming rig next to other platforms. And when I say exclusive, I mean exclusive. No PC loophole or anything. Respect existing contracts. Toss out some other multi-platform software where it makes sense. Killer Instinct, please. But keep a good slice of your lineup home. Make me need an Xbox again. The second item that I want to see is the reinstatement of backward compatibility development. I feel like the previous backward compatibility initiative folded it up way prematurely. It only covers something like 20% of Xbox 360 games and 6% of legacy Xbox games. That's not going to cut it. It's a pathetic ratio that is only held up as the class of the industry because everyone else is doing such a piss-poor job. At least from the outside looking in, it seemed to me that the previous iteration of Xbox backward compatibility lacked either the legal backing or the ambition to go after expired licenses and get some of these games with licensed soundtracks or vehicles or other content back up and running on the Xbox Store and on modern Xbox hardware. Entire IPs are completely lost to time right now, and I think some renewed efforts could go a long way. Let's try and get something like Project Gotham Racing back up on the Xbox Store. Another thing, and Sony has already kind of hinted at this, I'd like to see it from the Microsoft side as well. I want a hardware moratorium until at least 2030. Ideally 2032. New hardware is only attractive right now for developers and bean counters. The market for components is inhospitable. What are we supposed to expect about next-gen hardware when prices can't even be stabilized on the machines that have been on sale for over 5 years? And we're never going to have a generational transition that looks like 4th to 5th or 6th to 7th ever again. But we're still being asked to pay top dollar for these diminishing returns. It's not sustainable. Which takes me to my next point. Actually relaunch the Xbox Series for the 25th anniversary. Now, I can only assume that there are some projects already in the works to announce this year and to launch on November 15th. Make some of those real exclusives in accordance with my first point. A nice addition would be a generous update to the backward compatibility program to go along with it, since I'm fairly sure it's too late to put any new projects into motion for the anniversary. But I think you could get some more games up and running. I do. This should be dressed up as a fresh start for both the system and the IP, for the Xbox brand as a whole, since COVID and tariffs both raised hell with it in its first several years. Commit to Xbox Series getting a full lifespan that begins on November 15th, 2026. And finally, as the price of Game Pass Ultimate continues to balloon out of control, start wrangling the price of the base tier. Let people play online for cheaper than they are right now. Let's make it an attractive platform for online play, even if you're not able to fly first class. Undercutting PlayStation should be the main point here. If you can get the base tier in range of NSO, so much the better. But I think all of these would be very good steps toward making the Xbox a relevant and attractive platform for gamers again. As it stands right now, if someone were to ask me why buy an Xbox, I couldn't tell you. I've said it before at other times that I think a system is only as good as the hardware that it is required to access. And if we can get that energy back, I'm excited. And I don't think anyone should be pretending that it's off the table. Nightbird, yes, I did hear about that as well, and I think it should be a prerequisite for next gen. I wonder if that is something that was if that was one of Asha's initiatives that was moving along in the background before the announcement yesterday. That would make a lot of sense, and if that's the case, then I'm really excited because that bodes very well for the future of the brand. If we're already redoubling efforts to get backward compatible games. Yeah, Vel, so you're already eating good. I want everybody eating good. I want every system in my entertainment center to have a purpose, and I feel like yesterday and today were a big step toward it. Wholesome Ludus, that has been something they have been planning for a while. That makes sense. I mean, it was I think over a year ago now that they were talking about adding up staff to focus on preservation. It sounded more like they were trying to get staff in place to make the current games backward compatible on the next system rather than going back to legacy Xbox or 360 or things like that. Obviously, both are important. I agree, Nightbird. It depends on what shape their internal emulator is in once it's time to start letting people run their own games. The problem with that, though, is a lot of people don't have their games anymore. Myself included. I sold off pretty much everything I had on Xbox, Xbox 360, because it just wasn't practical to keep all those systems hooked up. The backward compatibility initiative, ideally, should have a focus also on getting games relisted and making them available digitally, because especially with the legacy Xbox starting to get long in the tooth. I've talked about this before, but my copy of Project Gotham Racing, one of my favorite games on the Xbox, is starting to pinhole, and my 360 doesn't even like running it anymore. Like, I get absolutely ruinous audio skipping whenever I try playing it. And I hate that. I would love to be able to just buy all of the Project Gotham Racing games, all 4 of them, digitally on the Xbox series, but because of car licenses, because of music licenses, I can't do that. And so they need to get a legal team together in coordination with their backward compatibility preservation team and work on getting these licenses renewed and getting these games back up on the service, because I think that is the next step required, and I kind of question the ambition of the backward compatibility team under Phil Spencer to get that done. Weren't Xbox planning to make the next console like $1,200 or something? Not necessarily. That is probably about what it would cost to produce a next generation system, in 2028 or 2029. The way they had it before, you could use your disc and it downloaded a package. That extra copy is what's complicating things. Yep. Most of the time it's the music licenses, not the cars. Yes, but Ferrari exists. And unfortunately, Project Gotham Racing in particular is very dependent on Ferrari. And I think that's complicated a lot of matters. Like, I think Ferrari is very reasonable to work with, but they also seem to really not like long-term contracts. So I think you'd need to establish points of contact between Ferrari's legal team and Microsoft's, and they could probably get something going there. But this is the most hopeful I've been for Xbox in over 5 years. I am really happy with how yesterday went, how today has gone. 20 PS5 games released last year. Oh yeah, and a lot of them are not even exclusive to PlayStation, right? I think you can still count on your hands the number of actual exclusive games that the PS5 has to its credit. You can play a lot of them over on PC, you can play a lot of them over on Xbox. I kind of break with the popular line of thinking there because I'm very pro-exclusive. I think everyone eats better when all the platform holders are fighting tooth and nail to amass the best collection of first and third-party games. And I think since Microsoft has focused on multi-platform development and releases, it has given Sony implicit permission to take their foot off the gas. And so you have what we have here, which is an entire generation of gaming hardware that has a lot of trouble justifying its presence in the market. And I think if Microsoft starts keeping a couple of games to themselves every year, I think we might get some of that energy back, and we might force both Microsoft and Sony to step it up. I can't criticize Nintendo on that because they're good for releasing an exclusive every month under most cases. Sony and Microsoft absolutely need a shot in the arm. And this could be it. It really could.